I, 32, have been married to my soon-to-be ex-wife, 30, Madison, for 4 years. We're currently in counselling, but it's not going to work. About a year ago, I found out she was having an affair by coming home to their clothes in our living room and sounds coming from our bedroom. I lost it. I was getting my cricket bat out of the front closet when I stopped to think about the consequences. I did not want to go to jail. Instead, I took all their clothes and left quietly. I went to a friend's house only after throwing all the clothes in a McDonald's garbage can. I turned off my phone and got intoxicated with my buddy. His wife hosed us off in the morning. After I turned my phone back on, I received dozens of calls and texts from Madison. First, she was scared because she got my updated flight information. Then she was upset that I hadn't called her to let her know I'd be coming home early. Then she freaked out that the house had been broken into. Then she got crazy because she figured out it was me. They just got more deranged. The guy she was with was 5 inches shorter than me and about 60 pounds lighter, so if he'd taken my clothes it would be obvious. He ended up calling his friend to go get his spare keys from his house. Unfortunately for him, his wife smelled a rat and followed his friend back to my house, where she saw him leaving in oversized clothes. Long story short, she took pictures and she had evidence of his infidelity, which caused their prenup to be cancelled, which cost him a lot of money. It's all one big giant crap show. It took a couple of months, but my wife convinced me to try to forgive her. We started going to counselling and we were working our way through it until recently. In a counselling session, she said that I was wrong to steal his wallet, phone and car keys. She said that his divorce was costing him a lot of money, that I should have dealt with it more maturely, and that it was my fault. I've never admitted to taking his stuff. To begin with, I was afraid he might call the cops. Then I didn't want to give her ammunition if she wanted a divorce. Now I don't care. I told her that her cheating was the reason her boyfriend was getting divorced, and that I hope his ex takes everything. I'm still not living at home, I have my own apartment, and I'm filing for divorce. Now that I know how she feels, it is a kind of slap in the face that she's blaming me for his divorce. OMG, I died laughing. Your wife has a lot of nerve sticking up for her affair partner and claiming that you wronged him. How about the wrong she and him committed against you and his wife? Clearly she doesn't regret her affair, just getting caught. I wish you well and I hope all goes your way in the divorce. You are not the idiot. Why does she know anything about him and his current struggles if she's trying to earn your trust back? OP, if she knows about his divorce troubles, that means she's still in contact with him. Ditch her for sure. Yeah, she's worried about her affair partner. Aww, she's garbage. The fact that she tried to blame his divorce on you and not the fact that they had an affair says a lot about her. File for divorce, my dude. She still cares for the guy. Stop going to counselling, quit talking to her, block her and run. Don't walk to that divorce. Then reach out to this guy's wife and tell her who you are and that once her divorce is done, you'd like to take her to dinner to celebrate both your marriages ending and karma doing its thing. My fiancée and I have been together for 6 years and she's currently several months pregnant with our daughter. 4 weeks ago I was promoted and this meant a complete job shift. I'm doing a lot heavier physical labour now and due to this my sleeping patterns have been royally messed up. I've started tossing and turning in my sleep, talking, snoring, groping her and being utterly unaware of it and just being all around restless. I understand this is a me issue and I need to find a way to correct it, but I haven't found alternatives so far. Sleeping pills help with the snoring and groping, but I still flail around apparently. They leave me groggy the next day, leading to an unsafe work environment, so I tend to not take them unless I don't work the next day. Well, several times I've woken up to my fiancée sleeping on the couch and her being over the top angry at me because she's sick of me causing her sleepless nights. I've slept on the couch a few times to try and give her space, but I can't do that too often because the couch is extremely hard on the back and it leaves me in physical pain. Mix that with the manual labour I work, and it sucks. Well, last night I apparently kept elbowing her in my sleep. We have a king-size bed, but I guess I kept rolling over to her side and elbowing her in the process. I did wake up once to her physically pushing me, so I moved back to my side but fell back into a deep sleep almost immediately following. That is until I woke up to her screaming in my face saying, "Stop elbowing me in the face," and calling me an idiot. Her screaming in my face immediately triggered something in me, and I told her to get the heck out. As soon as she left, I felt terrible. I assumed she was just out in the car, and while I sat and waited for her to return, I fell asleep. I woke up to my alarm at 6:30 a.m. and found her still gone. I texted her and got no response. I spent the entire day at work texting and calling, and she ignored me. Well, in a panic, I started blowing up her phone 30 minutes ago, calling right back to back and texting her, asking her to please meet me back at this house so we could talk about this. She just texted back and said, "Not a damn chance, actually. Go screw yourself." My buddy said that she's overreacting because she's pregnant, but I can't help but feel guilty. Am I the idiot? Edit, I did apologize. She said it wasn't good enough because her reaction was more justified than mine. Apparently, I elbowed her in the face 5 times over a 2-hour span and pushed her off the bed twice, and she was done with it because she woke me up several times. I don't recall, and I just kept doing it. 2 separate beds aren't an option currently due to lack of space, but she said she won't be coming back anytime soon, if ever, because she's been sleeping at most 2 hours a night due to my issues, and she's tired of dealing with it. Dude, you are the idiot. You need to do more to resolve your sleep issues, like yesterday. She needs sleep just as much as you do, and this obviously can't continue. Get a good quality air mattress or invest in a sleeper sofa, or set up a bed in another room or in the basement if you have the room. This isn't a completely unsolvable problem. OP's edit, 2 separate beds isn't an option currently. Yes it is, that's why she's not coming back. She found another bed. Figure it out, OP, this is ridiculous, and you are putting the health of your unborn child at risk. Seriously, what the heck? He's literally just like, I'm actively ruining every single possible night of sleep for my pregnant wife. How dare she actually leave when I scream in her face to leave, even though, again, I am the problem. I'm not trying to fix it at all. Remove the uncomfortable couch and replace it with one that is comfortable to sleep on, temporarily if space is the issue. But no, instead, let's assault the pregnant woman in our sleep and then kick her out. Dude, you messed up. Your back hurts on the couch? Buy an air mattress and find an alternative. You didn't get to see where she was when you made her leave. You pretend nothing is your fault. You're both crazy with poor sleep, and the baby isn't even here yet. Good luck. I wouldn't return to you. You could bet your last dime on that. I'm in a pickle and need some perspective, so here's the tea. My sister Emily is getting married soon. We've been close our whole lives until my recent breakup with my ex, Chris. Chris and I were together for 5 years and it was serious. We split up 3 months ago because Chris decided to pursue a career opportunity overseas and I wasn't willing to move. Now, Emily and Chris have always gotten along, but I never imagined she'd take his side over mine. Yesterday I got the shock of my life. Emily calls me and casually mentions that she's invited Chris to the wedding as a groomsman. Worse still, she tells me that because of the limited guest list, I'm not invited anymore. Her reasoning? She thinks my presence alongside Chris would create drama and ruin her day. Here's where I might be the idiot. I was supposed to pay for half of Emily's wedding. It was my gift to her as we come from a modest background and she's always dreamt of a big wedding. Feeling betrayed and hurt, I told her that if she thought uninviting me to accommodate my ex was okay, then she should also be fine without my financial support. Emily blew up at me, calling me petty and selfish. She said I was ruining her special day and manipulating her emotionally. Now, family members are divided, with some saying I'm justified and others saying I'm being too harsh and letting my breakup affect my sister's happiness. So, am I the idiot? Putting the ex aside, why would you pay for a wedding you're not invited to? Did the people on the sister's side not hear that? Geez, OP, you're so mean. How could you not foot half the bill? Yeah, you can't come, but family. Not the idiot and tell her, don't bite the hand that feeds. Seriously, the absolute nerve of some people never ceases to amaze me. If your ex was a decent person, he would have refused the offer to be a groomsman once he learned that your selfish and entitled sister decided his participation meant you weren't allowed to attend her wedding. The fact that people in your family are defending her behavior and still expect you to fork over thousands of dollars for a wedding you aren't allowed to attend is equally mind-blowing. Your sister chose your ex over you, and she should live with the consequences of her cruel decision. We are missing details. Inviting your sister's ex to your wedding and then uninviting the sister is so off in the first place. What? Who in their right mind would think that is right? There has to be more going on in this relationship. You wouldn't fail to invite, let alone uninvite your sibling to your wedding unless there was already a major falling out, in which case you wouldn't be expecting them to pay for it anyway. You are underestimating the ability of a dreaming of the ideal big wedding bride to delude herself. Any family members claiming OP is being too harsh can open up their wallets and fund the wedding. OP has zero obligations to do so. I hope OP takes the money that would have gone towards the wedding and takes a nice drama-free vacation for herself. Sis is bonkers to expect OP to pay for an event that they are no longer invited to. My wife 30 and I, 32 male, have been married for 6 years. My wife gave birth to a baby boy a few months ago, and she was recently diagnosed with PPD and is currently on medication. My wife has shown momentary bouts of anger these past few months where she lashes out. These bouts of anger are usually temporary, and even though they're extremely fierce, I understand it's a symptom of PPD and sympathise with what my wife's going through. A couple of days ago, I'd gone out to get groceries, but I'd forgotten to get onions, which my wife had repeatedly reminded me to get. It was my fault, and there were a lot of items to get. I should have written them down in a note to avoid forgetting any items. When I returned home and my wife asked for onions, I apologised and said I had forgotten and that I would drive back to the store to get them if she wanted me to. However, my wife completely lost her cool and started lashing out at me again. She was really angry and grabbed an item from the counter without looking at it and threw it on the floor. I knew what the item was, but I was too late before my wife threw it on the floor and broke it. It was my late sister's watch. My sister passed away a couple of years ago from cancer, and it was the most challenging thing I ever had to go through in my life. She gave me the watch as a memento to keep. I'd gotten this watch for her on her birthday many years ago, but she got it engraved with our names. It meant a lot to me. So when my wife broke the watch and shattered it, I felt a bit numb. My wife immediately apologised multiple times and was sobbing really heavily. I told my wife it wasn't her fault and that it was alright because I wanted to calm her down, but I internally felt devastated. That was when, for the first time, I questioned if I loved my wife anymore. I don't plan on doing anything drastic for the next few months because my wife is already going through PPD and I don't want to add additional stress on top of it. But after a year or so, I'm seriously considering the possibility of a divorce because I'm really not sure if I love my wife anymore. Am I the idiot for considering divorce? Is anyone an idiot for considering divorce when they feel they no longer love their partner? Certainly not. Is anyone an idiot for leaving a PPD wife with a newborn is the better question. If your wife is going through bursts of uncontrollable anger, it means her medication is not working. I very strongly advise getting her back to her obstetrician or to the PPD unit at the hospital where she gave birth to get her reassessed, get her meds changed, and possibly even look at an inpatient stay. Yeah, I read this and thought, it sounds like someone needs to go to the hospital as soon as possible. I think it's not the right time to discuss the relationship and divorce. Your wife's health status is a house on fire right now and they need to get that fire put out before she starts hurting people and not just things. She, OP, the baby, any pets, everybody is at risk and safety has to take priority over feelings. Exactly, this is a conversation to have with a therapist. I don't know the details of your relationship obviously, but I think your wife is in desperate need of medication and also therapy. Modern science has a host of miraculous antidepressants. I'm living proof. After reading this, I recommend trying to amend the relationship for your own sake, her sake, and for the sake of your child. Good luck. My fiancé, male 33, and I, female 34, have been together for 5 going on 6 years. I was there for him for his addiction and raised his daughter while he was in jail and homeless and in rehab. I have a son from a previous relationship, a teen, and we have a son together, a toddler. This last weekend was his daughter's, young teen, birthday, and the day before, he messaged me to say that his daughter doesn't want my son at her birthday because her boyfriend is coming. My son and her boyfriend get along very well, and she feels like she'll be left out. So I messaged my fiancé and said I would stop by and give her gift. Still, I'm not staying as my son was excited about seeing his sister on her birthday. He was sad that he wasn't invited anymore. My fiancé then got angry that I was making a huge deal out of it, saying she's allowed to have whoever she wants at her birthday, which I agree she has every right, just as I have every right to show up because my son was upset about being uninvited. He knows I will always have his back. His mom called me to find out what was happening, and I told her what he'd said. She told me that his daughter never said that she didn't want her brother there and that we must come, but I said no because my son was upset. I didn't tell my son that my fiancé was the person who uninvited him, but he figured it out and asked me if it was my fiancé, not his sister who didn't want him around. I ended up taking my son to the movies and the arcade, but when he saw his sister at the mall, he decided he didn't want to stay any longer, so we left. Am I the idiot for being upset about this whole situation? Not the idiot. Why did your fiancé not want your son at the party? Why did your fiancé lie and blame his daughter for disinviting him? Why did your fiancé want to exclude your son and get mad when you had his back? These are questions that I would need my fiancé to answer to my face. Then I would consider if I wanted a relationship with a man like that. From reading the first paragraph alone, it sounds like you're completely done with this man to begin with, and that this episode was your wit's end. It's easier to end an engagement than to end a marriage. I'm proud that you had your son's back. Your fiancé has growing up to do. Well, yeah, within 6 years he was on drugs, in jail and homeless. Why was OP willing to accept so many red flags for so long? And she still decided to have a baby with him and stay with him. Genius move. Everyone's the idiot here. This is a fiancé and OP problem that she's wrapped her son in by not picking a better partner. Getting so sick of seeing people jump headfirst into dumpster fires and then wonder why they smell burning trash. Lady, you picked an obvious loser. You messed around and now you're in the finding out stage. I have no sympathy for you, but your kids didn't make these idiotic choices they have to suffer for.